you know, you start recording and you know it's gonna go up later, but there's just this talking period where you just have to say something before people come in and watch it. So I'm just by myself here making coffee and or making hot milk for the moment. And if nobody comes, well, then this is just a recording and you can watch it later. Anyway, the topic is this mug and some other things from childhood and why I didn't declutter this. Oh, can you see this? There's a frog inside. Yeah. And this is my kid's mug now. I can't talk super loudly because actually I have a cold, so I will cut this short. The thing about this mug is that it kind of represents a lot of things that I had in my life, especially as a kid. If you've seen my video about how I decluttered basically my life when I was about 17, then you know that I had like a big mess in my room and everything was not so great. So, and the thing is that this mug is also from my childhood. I don't exactly, I think, yeah, I do remember from where this is. This is actually from a lake here in Germany, Lake Chiemsee. It's a bigger lake in Bavaria. Like, it's not the biggest, I think, but maybe the second biggest. It's huge. So anyway, this lake, we went there for vacation each year, and that one year, um, that was when we actually got this mug at the little store, and it was called Linde, which is a kind of tree, and this tree was in front of the store, like big, huge tree, and two weird cat statues. I'm not making this up. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of where I got this mug, and I remember that my mother always said, like, why isn't there like a golden ball inside? Because of the fairy tale, you know. But I don't know. I think it's like the one frog just wants to be with the other, right? So anyway, this one, it stayed at my mom's place, and just I think I recently got it back. So because my mother, you know, she moved to a smaller apartment, and then I had to get a lot of my stuff, and all my minimalism was ruined for a while. For instance, I had to get my a lot of my clothes that I still had there, and my big closet. It's from the 1920s, so it's like I will not get rid of that. I like that closet, but it's huge, huge and bulky. And I've always been this person who wants to be able to move like in the blink of an eye. But the thing is that, you know, at some point you have to face it. And for me, this is like, yeah, I'm faced with some kind of anxiety when I think about not being able to move by just packing up my things into a bag, you know. But I'm also hesitant with the term anxiety because I think ultimately there is anxiety, which is normal, it's a normal feeling, and there are anxiety disorders, or, yeah. So I think it's important to make that distinction, and today a lot of people, especially in the self-help industry, try to pathologize every normal emotion. I'm just reading a book, and it's called Emotions Are Not a Disease, or Emotions Are Not a Sickness. And that title is just like my whole message. I don't think that emotions are something you need to cure. And if you're anxious, that's probably normal, unless it's really keeping you from doing the things that you like. But even to a certain extent, that is normal, because you're human and you're made to be afraid of animals that can eat you. So if anxiety is making you not go out, it's probably because your brain doesn't want you to be eaten, and you have to think about where this is coming from and why you are so afraid. So anyway, I kind of didn't like the idea of taking back my stuff, but on the other hand, I knew that I would have to deal with that eventually. It's just a normal part of growing up and just having your things and dealing with your own things. And I remember watching a video from Leafy, because I always thought that Leafy actually didn't have anything, and then she revealed that she had this big fat container or storage unit or something with stuff, and I was so amazed, and I thought like, wow, cool. So she didn't get rid of everything, or they. Sorry, Leafy, if I used like the wrong pronoun. I don't know which one you go by. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway, that is really cool, and I really like that. And so the thing is that for me, it's just the same. I have some things at my mother's, and we also have a lot in our downstairs. So we have like this little downstairs storage. Everyone gets one here. It's just, I don't know where you live, but in Germany it's pretty normal that you get a cellar with your apartment. If you don't, you're screwed over. So if you moved abroad to Germany and you got an apartment without a storage unit, yep, it should be 150 less, or maybe 100 less than your average apartment, because that just belongs there. You just have to have one. I mean, unless you have like a fully furnished student apartment, which is like the ultimate worst apartment anyway. But yeah, if you don't have a furnished apartment, if you have like a normal flat, definitely needs a cellar. So and so we have a lot of kids stuff there, because I just think that I don't, if you ever want another kid, I do not want to go through the process of thinking about what I should buy for that. So, but I'm gonna go through that again, I think, and just sort out the stuff that I didn't like. So maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I found that inspiring to see that stuff from Leafy's container. And so with the things from my mother, it was just the same. It was like her whole cellar was full of stuff, and a little bit of my stuff too. Not so much, like a few boxes, this size boxes. So, and some toys. So, and those are kind of hers to keep, because she has these toys from my childhood. She had these toys before, so they are really hers, and she just gave them to me so I could play with them. And it was always about, like, when you have kids, they can play with it. I was never asked to have kids, okay? So just so you know, my mother decided that for me. It was decided for me before I was born. So I don't know if people get my sarcasm. Anyway, that was what happened, and the mug was always in her closet, and she doesn't care about how many mugs she has for some reason. She's not like me. She's not super picky, and I am kind of, every mug needs a reason. Every mug needs a reason. So my kid has had this cute little beetle cup, and she broke it, and she was heartbroken over it, and there might have been some minor maternal yelling included. Who knows, right? Because it was a really cute mug. But we couldn't get another one, so it was sold out. And so I brought her this one. And the fun thing is, the first one was made of bamboo, and it wasn't easy to break. And I brought her this one, which is really easy to break. And yeah, it's kind of stupid. And she also has this one, Kuksa, and it can't break, basically. It's made out of birch wood. So yeah, I think this one is indestructible. But this one was her favorite and her kind of makeup cup for yeah, the other one. So and yeah, so I don't know. This is the reason why I didn't get rid of it, because otherwise, when I was with my mom, and I'm like, hey, do you really need this? Let's get rid of this. Oh, this is mine. I can take this. You can totally give that away. And just whenever I visit, there is something that I say she can donate or throw away. And so I've really gone from that person being, oh, I'm so happy my mother is storing this for me because then I don't have to, and the person that says, also, I'm so happy that I have a cellar, to someone who's more like, well, I don't want anything in this room downstairs. I actually want it empty. I want it empty so I can put my bike in or just have it like a hobby room or something, but I don't actually want to fill it up with stuff. That is where I am right now. Coffee's done. And so, yeah, that is my ideal where I want to be with my minimalism. And I mean, the thing is, I have had no cellar for a while, as in years. And I remember, I always had just very few things. So, and at worst, I just had a lot of books and clothes, but everything else was always minimal. So everything like kitchenware, kitchen uh, electronics. I never had many electronics, just one, a mixer, and I could totally do without all of that, and I would if I lived alone. Okay, so like let's say 80% of the items that we have today, we only have because I don't live alone and for the convenience of my husband, because I don't care about that kind of convenience. I must say, for me, convenience is always like some, I don't know, it's an excuse. It's just like having less is, in my opinion, so much nicer than having convenience. Because having less makes you ultimately happy, and convenience doesn't. Convenience just is like a momentary thing that makes you feel good about having it easy. But then you have to clean up all the machinery when you talk about kitchen stuff, kitchen gear. I mean, it's great to have a machine do everything for you, but you have to clean up the machine afterwards. And with my mixer, well, they're just these two stirring units when I make dough, and that's all. So I don't know. I don't get this convenience. This is the same with people having multiple sets of dishes, of plates and whatever, cups, everything, just to fill their dishwasher. That for me would never be the way to go. So if I can decide between more stuff or less stuff, and more convenience or less convenience, I will go with less convenience and less stuff, which is usually correlating, because it's not more stuff, less convenience. It's more stuff, more convenience, because you have a convenience item for every little problem that you have. I think that is what the shop Chibo is all about. I've heard that you have that in the States too, but we have it here a lot. Like in every of other supermarket, especially I think the Rewe supermarkets, you can always find like this Chibo booth, and there's all this stuff where you ask yourself like, oh well, there is something I can use to polish my shoes, and it has like a little thing there to also scratch the dirt out of the soles of my shoe. Yay! Like, how does this item exist? Or the worst thing that I believe, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm offending you. A little bit, maybe like 1%, sorry, but nobody needs an apple slicer. And if you have an apple slicer, you are on the wrong path, my friend. This is all you need. Versatile, multi-purpose. Do I look like a serial killer? Yeah, anyway, so you need that. You don't need an apple slicer, like this thing you push down on an apple. and then what you do with the whole trash, as in like, oh, the inside, yeah, you still have to eat all that from the apple, all the apple flesh, I guess. So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get these single purpose items, and I don't get convenience items, and I don't get whole convenience kitchen dishes sets. That's just ridiculous. So no, for me, never. I will always go with minor inconvenience. And this is the thing we constantly debate here. It's constantly about like, well, but you have this and this and this and this, and it's inconvenient and it doesn't work for me. And I don't know. For instance, we had a lot of discussions about this bristle here, brush, dish brush, this one, this thing. We had a lot of discussions about this thing, and it was always like, yeah, but this doesn't clean up stuff nicely, you know. It works for me, so if it works for me, it works, because like I'm not the most clever person when it comes to housewife stuff, okay? I can solve differential equations. I don't want to deal with complicated kitchen stuff, all right? I got that at work. I got complicated stuff at uni, at work, wherever I go. I don't want complicated at home. So trust me when I say if it works for me, then it works for everyone else. So that's just my general approach to when I hear me from other people, as in my husband or anyone else giving me crap about something that I use that is minorly inconvenient. Is that an adverb? Minorly. Think about it. English is such an interesting language. I mean, I like French more, but I know more English. But it's still super interesting. Making the froth milk right now. So yeah, that was one thing. And so it's the same. It's the same with all things that we have in the kitchen, and everything just needs a reason to be there. And if there is overlap with another thing and it has the same reason, then one has to go, because it's either one or the other. And I will show you another example from my kitchen, which someone else who lives here can't decide on, but I can. So, for instance, we have these two, it was a word with S, sewers. So we have these two. This one is better for noodles, they always get stuck here. And this one is better for a salad. We keep them both. I don't want to keep them both. I just want to keep this one because minor inconvenience. Yeah, every once in a while some noodles might get stuck in there. So what? It's not killing me. So if I was just by myself, this one it would be, this one would go. But I also kind of like this one because this one's the first of this kind I ever owned in my life. I bought it for myself and it cost like, I don't know, it had a ridiculous price, like $20 or something, from some eco designer store. And I always wanted that. I always walked past the store and when I have my first kitchen, I'm gonna have that. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna keep it, you know. But if I really had to decide on it, and this faceless thing is from Muji. So yeah, anyway, I will show you another example though. So now this is something that I recently decluttered. We just talked about it yesterday. It's my salad bowl. It's huge. Look at it. It's just, look how big it is. I can make myself a salad, and that will last for a whole week until it's like ewy, mushy, icky, and old. So yeah, no. Also the lid is broken. It has like this little slash here and just doesn't work anymore. So I glued it, but yeah, it looks really stupid. And then I have these two. They are smaller. But you know how often I make a salad that big? The only time I ever make a salad that big is when I actually miscalculated the amount of salad that we need. Because This salad bowl feeds us all. And even if we had like 2 kids, just use 2 bowls. This is more versatile than that. So it's minor inconvenience to just use 2 bowls if you have to. And it's a major inconvenience for me actually to have this around, because it bugs me every single time that I need to get this out of the closet, okay? So that for me is the reason why versatility is more important than this minor convenience you get out of these items. It might be nice, you know, the thought is, yeah, but what if you have guests, right? What if you have guests? What do you do then? Well, I tell you what I do. I ask them to bring the salad. Just really, that is a normal thing here. You just, if you're invited to a party, you bring your own food, right? Like, you don't make the one person that invited you to have a good time to pay for it all. You bring your own stuff and food, and then you help clean up, and that's how German parties work. Anyway, and then so I would do that. I would rather do that, or I would just use 2 bowls, and essentially I just like multi-purpose items so much more that for me the inconvenience really doesn't matter. So anyway, I got the coffee. I told you why I didn't declutter the mug. I think I'm gonna hit the little X button right here, and then end this thing. Last option to ask me some question. Really anything, as long as it's appropriate. You know what? The thing with these videos about decluttering is that they go weirdly well. The algorithm seems to love them. I think I'm gonna make a few more, just like about some random decluttering topic, and feed the YouTube beast until I have like 20k subscribers. Still gonna read all my comments. I always read all my comments, and if I don't respond, that means I don't have to say anything. And I think maybe, yeah, decluttering, and the next would be capsule wardrobe, because the YouTube beast, it just feeds on that stuff. I don't know. I feel like I have to feed the beast. Gotta make a lot of content this week. This week is horrible. I mean, yeah, next week's also horrible. Everything before we go to Sweden will be horrible. Because I have to make content and upload it for like 8 weeks. Not sure I can do that. But I will try. So I thought, like, meanwhile, before we go offline, I thought it would be a nice idea to do a live stream every other day. That was basically the idea. But yeah, my coffee's done now. I'm gonna have my coffee now. I hope you learned something from this whole example decluttering thing, and wish you a really nice day.